And what it sounds like is that she's not interested in being a part of a team. She just wants to own it all.
It's painful. It is painful.
And so despite all of the resentment, to me, at the end of the day, that's what it means to be men.
This is some family drama. You don't do this. You don't do this in front of the scenes. This is not right, okay?
Blake Lively is caught in a legal firestorm, and according to rumors, her case is hanging by a thread. Explosive courtroom developments are shaking Hollywood, and the stakes just got higher than ever. Welcome back to Pop Flash, your go-to source for the biggest celebrity scandals and behind-the-scenes bombshells. Justin Baldoni isn't backing down. His lawyer, Brian Friedman, just hit the courtroom with 170 pages of alleged text messages, and insiders claim these receipts could completely flip the script. Baldoni, who is suing Lively for a jaw-dropping $400 million, insists she falsely accused him of harassment. But now, these newly surfaced texts are raising serious questions about Lively's true intentions. One of the most shocking revelations, the so-called dragon texts. Messages where Lively allegedly referred to Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds as her personal dragons, seemingly enlisting them to defend her. But why would she need Hollywood's biggest A-listers backing her up if her claims were solid? According to reports, she didn't just rely on her famous connections. She allegedly worked with her PR team and the New York Times to carefully time these allegations, ensuring they dropped on a holiday weekend for maximum media impact.
Texted me last night, you came here, you knew it wasn't going to be easy, we're going to talk about stuff, and you showed up anyways, and you listened, because I love you.
Was this a coincidence, or was it a carefully calculated takedown? But the Hollywood power plays don't stop there. According to industry insiders, WME, one of the most dominant talent agencies in the world, moved fast. They immediately dropped Baldoni, but kept Lively and Reynolds on board. That alone raised eyebrows, but it gets even messier. Rumors say WME's CEO, Ari Emanuel, personally stepped in and made some damning statements about Baldoni. Why would one of Hollywood's biggest power players take such a strong stance? And if Baldoni is truly innocent, why was he the one shown the door? And now here's the part that has everyone talking. Despite all the media frenzy, insiders claim that Lively never actually filed an official HR complaint with Sony, the company behind the film where all of this supposedly went down. If her accusations were as serious as she made them seem, why bypass the formal channels? Why take it straight to the press instead? Was this really about justice? Or was it about controlling the narrative before Baldoni could speak for himself? As more details spill out, this case is starting to look less like a simple lawsuit and more like a full-scale Hollywood war.
Everyone's seeing through it. They're seeing through the BS. And, at the end of the day, they're the ones who are seeking gag orders against Baldoni from releasing information.
Allegiances are being tested, reputations are on the line, and the truth is buried under layers of PR strategy, legal maneuvering, and high-powered connections. With new receipts still emerging, one thing's for sure. This scandal is far from over. And if you thought this case couldn't get any wilder, buckle up. Because according to rumors, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds openly joked about the lawsuit during the SNL 50th anniversary event. Imagine being at the center of a massive legal battle, facing a $400 million defamation lawsuit, and still cracking jokes on national television. The audacity of that moment sent shockwaves through Hollywood, leaving many questioning just how seriously Lively is actually taking these allegations. But that's not even the most shocking part, because the judge presiding over this case allegedly had some choice words for Lively's legal team. According to reports, when her lawyers demanded access to Justin Baldoni's phone records, the judge didn't hold back, allegedly calling the request psychopathic. That's a bold statement coming from the bench, and it raises a major question. Why would Lively's team need his phone records so badly? Were they hoping to find something incriminating? Or was this just an aggressive legal strategy to pressure Baldoni into submission? At this point, it's crystal clear. This case isn't just about legal claims anymore, it's turning into an all-out war in Hollywood. Insiders are completely divided. Some are staunchly defending Lively, while others claim that Baldoni is simply fighting to clear his name after being blindsided by these allegations. And now, with the latest batch of text messages reshaping the entire conversation, everyone wants to know, could these receipts completely rewrite the narrative? But here's the thing. This scandal is only getting started. Every day, new leaks and insider reports are adding more fuel to the fire. And it doesn't look like either side is backing down anytime soon. So, let's break it all down. The timeline, the media spin, and how this feud escalated from whispers on set to full-blown Hollywood chaos. According to sources, the first signs of tension between Lively and Baldoni started during the early production stages of their film. At first, the tension was subtle, with reports suggesting that their behind-the-scenes interactions were simply uncomfortable. But here's where things take an interesting turn. There was never a formal complaint filed against Baldoni, at least not through the official HR channels at Sony. If Lively truly felt uncomfortable, why didn't she go through proper workplace procedures? Why take this to the court of public opinion before filing anything official? According to insiders, Lively may have had an entirely different game plan. Instead of going the legal route first, she allegedly turned to her powerful Hollywood connections to start shaping the public perception of Baldoni before any legal action was even taken. And if that's true, then this was never just about the lawsuit. It was about controlling the entire narrative from the very beginning. With all these revelations coming to light, one thing is clear. This case isn't just about justice or reputation. It's about who holds the most power in Hollywood. And in an industry where influence is everything, this battle is shaping up to be one of the biggest celebrity legal wars of the decade. One of the biggest bombshells Brian Friedman reportedly dropped in court? A series of explosive text messages allegedly between Blake Lively and her PR team. And trust us, if these messages are real, they could completely change the game. According to rumors, these texts allegedly show Lively strategizing the perfect moment to take her accusations public, carefully planning when and how to release them for maximum impact. In one of the messages, Lively reportedly suggests that dropping the news over a long holiday weekend would be the most effective approach. Why? Because, according to legal experts, this would allow the scandal to gain traction and dominate the headlines before Baldoni's team could even get a chance to respond or do damage control. Now, if that's true, it raises a massive question. Was this about seeking justice, or was it a calculated move to destroy Baldoni's reputation before he even had a chance to defend himself? If Lively was truly seeking the truth, why the need to time the accusations so perfectly? Was this about exposing wrongdoing, or was it about ensuring the most damaging headlines possible? And then, we have the infamous dragon texts. According to the court documents, Lively allegedly referred to Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds as her dragons, implying that they would stand by her side no matter what. And honestly, this is a huge revelation. Because let's be real, Swift and Lively have been inseparable for years, and Reynolds has always been vocal about defending his wife in public controversies. But here's where things get interesting. What exactly did Lively mean by calling them her dragons? Was this just a way of saying they would offer her emotional support behind the scenes? Or was she implying something more strategic, that she could count on her famous friends to publicly back her claims and influence the court of public opinion? Think about it. Having Taylor Swift in your corner isn't just about emotional support. We're talking about one of the most powerful celebrities in the world, someone who can turn public perception in an instant just by what she says or doesn't say on social media. And Ryan Reynolds? His Hollywood influence is just as strong, with major connections to industry executives, production companies, and talent agencies. So the question is, were Swift and Reynolds actively involved in shaping this scandal, or were they just being supportive friends while Lively handled things on her own? Right now, the only thing that's crystal clear is that their names are deeply tied to this case, and no one knows just how much they were involved. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni's legal team isn't backing down. Friedman has been pushing back hard, arguing that not only is there zero solid evidence of harassment, but that Baldoni himself has actually been the victim of a massive smear campaign. And here's where things take an even darker turn. According to sources, Baldoni was completely blindsided when his talent agency, WME, dropped him almost immediately after these accusations surfaced. He wasn't even given time to defend himself. One minute, he was one of Hollywood's most promising stars, and the next, completely cut off. Even more shocking, rumors say that Ari Emanuel, the CEO of WME, personally made the call to sever ties with Baldoni. And keep in mind, this happened before any legal charges were ever filed. If that's true, it raises serious concerns about Hollywood's power dynamics. Why would WME rush to drop Baldoni when no legal action had even been taken against him? Was this a case of Hollywood protecting its biggest A-list names while making someone else the scapegoat for public backlash? If Baldoni was truly guilty, wouldn't there have been a formal investigation before they made such a drastic decision? And let's not forget, Lively and Reynolds stayed with Bemi. If Baldoni was cut loose so quickly, but Lively and Reynolds remained, what does that say about who truly holds the power in Hollywood? As this case continues to unravel, more people are starting to ask the real questions. Was Baldoni a true offender, or was he simply thrown to the wolves while Hollywood protected its own? And with 170 pages of text messages now in court, will these revelations expose the truth, or will they raise even more questions about what's really happening behind the scenes? One thing's for sure, this scandal is nowhere near over. And speaking of media involvement, let's talk about the shocking role the New York Times may have played in this entire scandal. Rumors say that Blake Lively's team worked closely with the publication, allegedly ensuring that the story would be framed in the most damaging way possible against Baldoni. But here's where things get even more suspicious. Sources claim that the Times initially hesitated to publish the story at all. Why? Because at the time, there was no formal complaint filed with Sony or any other official governing body. That's a huge red flag. If there was no formal record of wrongdoing, why did they move forward with it anyway? This raises a critical question. Was the Times under external pressure to turn this into a sensational, headline-grabbing controversy? Were they simply chasing clicks and views? Or was there a bigger agenda at play? And more importantly, who was truly pulling the strings behind the scenes? But the courtroom reaction to all of this was even more jaw-dropping. One of the most shocking moments of this entire case came when the presiding judge allegedly slammed Lively's team's legal tactics. According to sources, the judge outright called their demand for Baldoni's phone records a psychopathic request. Now, let that sink in. A judge, someone who sees high-profile lawsuits every single day, actually described Lively's legal request with such extreme language. That's not something that happens very often. But here's the real question. Why was Lively's team so desperate to access Baldoni's phone data? If the evidence against him was as solid as they claim, why resort to such an aggressive legal move? Could it be that they were trying to find something, anything to support their case? Or was this a scare tactic meant to put Baldoni under pressure? Because, let's be real, demanding phone records is no small thing. That's personal information, private conversations, and potentially unrelated data that could be spun into something incriminating. The fact that the judge reacted so strongly suggests that Lively's legal team might have crossed the line in their pursuit of evidence. And now, let's talk about the public reaction, because Hollywood insiders are absolutely divided. While Lively's fan base is fiercely defending her, there are many people in the industry who are starting to question the legitimacy of her accusations. Some are even pointing out a massive contradiction in her actions, her decision to joke about the lawsuit on the SNL 50th anniversary special. Let's pause for a moment. Imagine facing a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, a public scandal that could change your entire career, and then laughing about it on national television. It's a bold move, but was it the right one? Because here's the thing. If Lively truly felt like a victim in this case, why would she turn such a serious legal battle into comedy material? For some, this came across as an attempt to downplay the severity of the situation, while for others, it felt like she was mocking the entire case as if it was nothing more than tabloid gossip. So, what was the real intention behind the joke? Was it a way to control the narrative? To make the lawsuit seem so ridiculous that the public would start to dismiss Baldoni's claims? Or did it accidentally reveal that Lively doesn't take this case as seriously as she wants people to believe? Either way, the damage is done. Now, as this case drags on, more shocking details are emerging, and the battle between Lively and Baldoni is only getting messier. Will these newly surfaced text messages prove that Lively orchestrated a media takedown? Or will Baldoni's lawsuit expose the dark side of Hollywood's power dynamics? At this point, there are too many unanswered questions, and the truth is buried beneath layers of legal drama, PR strategies, and high-profile connections. One thing is certain. This is a scandal no one saw coming, and it's far from over. Stay tuned because this case is only getting more explosive.